Incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes. Aussie bourbon lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
I often wonder about the science of what makes a bottle pop good.
I don't know, Dave. I'm not a scientist, so I can't help you there.
But I had some of this last night, so that's why.
Oh, tonight we're drinking a Kirkland Bottle in Bond Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
There you go, H.
This is not a normal 1792.
Cheers.
Even though it is a 1792. Cheers.
So,
look at that.
What's unique about this, H? What have we got here? Let's talk about the thing that's wacky here.
Well, it's 1792, but it's not in a normal 1792 bottle. It's in like a tall, skinny bottle.
With a green label. You'll see it in the podcast artwork, or if you're watching along on YouTube, you can see this thing.
So it's very different. The 1792 is printed very, very small on the big green label on the front, and it's a very, very different bottle from a normal 1792.
Because what does a normal 1792 look like?
It's like really wide and stunning, and yeah, it doesn't look anything like this. This is more like a big bottle of wine, whereas a 1792 is, wide and glamorous and,
It's almost like the kind of Gatsby-esque, the 1792 bottle.
Yep.
This thing looks like something
lid.
you'd get at Costco, which it obviously is
exactly
Kirkland.
where you got it.
Yeah. So we all know about sourced whiskey.
Yep.
We've spoken about this a lot in the past. Barton 1792 is one of these distilleries that does definitely sell their whiskey to other places. But
so they've sold a 1792 to someone else and then they've bottled it up like this.
not just someone else, it's Costco. Like, we definitely know it's Costco because it's got Kirkland on it. That's Costco's home brand.
Yeah. So they've put a 1792 into a Costco bottle in one Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey bottle.
Well, you can talk about it however you want, but it's...
Is it exactly the same liquid is what I want to know?
What do you mean exactly the same?
Well, like if I was to go to Dan Murphy's and buy a nice expensive 1792, and if I was to go to Costco and buy this Kirkland 1792, am I drinking the same thing?
Are you drinking exactly the same thing?
Well, am I drinking...
It's almost impossible to tell because they don't put an age statement on. Although the 1792 guys don't do this either. But the mash bill, we know the mash bill is that classic Barton 1792 mash bill.
So it's the same 1792 mash bill.
74% corn, 80% rye, 8% barley. But for some reason, and there's people online who speculate that it's because they must have bought so much of it that they're allowed to put that it's Barton 1792 on it. Because there's others who we know have sourced from there. I think Calumet Farm is one, which I love Calumet Farm. And I've got a bottle, or so maybe I don't have it anymore, but it might be empty. But where it's kind of speculated this is where they got their juice from.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to say, or they haven't said, or whatever it is.
So is there a price difference between the Costco one and the...
My word, said the bird. Yeah. You want to get yourself a Barton, you want to get a 1792 bottle in Bond, in the nice bottle. For a start, you're not going to get it in a litre bottle like this. Is this 1 litre or more? It's big.
It's pretty big.
It's a litre, yeah.
Yep.
You're definitely not going to get it for the same price. I think this is going to be, in Australian dollars, maybe $75, $80.
Yep.
I reckon the same, like just a 750ml bottle of the in 1792 bottle is probably $250 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I'd straight up get a Costco membership and get a bottle.
Get one.
But together you've already saved your money. I don't know. I'm not clever enough to know how to go side by side with this.
Oh, we should do a side by side one.
But I reckon this is going to be nearly as good.
The question is,
it's banging. Is what
it's
it is
delicious.
for a silly home brand. Ignore the label and drink the good juice.
Yeah. Well, it's the good juice because they've put it on the label. Just bottle it in a different bottle.
Well, theoretically, I mean, of course, everything it's all going to be slightly different, and I can imagine they're going to pick what barrels they're going to give them, and there's going to be all that kind of stuff. But I don't really understand.
They might not give them their really good stuff,
but it's still really
stuff.
good, and it's still got Barton 1792 on it, right?
Yeah, and it's still got that delicious. Oh, yum. Kind of cinnamon caramel. Is that what you're getting? What are you getting, Dave?
Well, I've already had some to drink, and it's really got that lovely round.
Yeah, it like hits the back of your mouth.
What it's I feel so
delicious.
silly saying caramel and vanilla because it feels
It's bourbon. It's
wrong,
gonna have
doesn't it?
caramel
Yeah.
and vanilla and
That's
maple.
what it should have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
But that's
some
when,
cherry,
that's the way I
maybe some
describe it
dark
when it's
chocolate.
good, because sometimes when I have one that I don't particularly like, I'm sure someone else would describe it with caramels and vanillas. But if it's a bourbon I like, I know it's going to have that delicious desserty caramelly smell.
And maybe it's the dark berries and stuff that are kind of like driving this one a little bit more for me. But I don't know. I just really like it in a classic bourbon way. And that lovely, the bottling bond, so it's that, a little bit of heat. Still a lovely, easy to drink kind of softness to it, I suppose, or a drinkability to it. But
I never realised they were DSP 12, KY12.
Yeah, so they're one of these ones that's got an early, quite an early
number.
DSP,
I need to pay more attention to that.
So it brings us to this thing of like, and we could bang on about source whiskey for a long time, but what about the don't judge a bottle by its
Don't judge a
design,
book by its cover.
or a juice or a bourbon by its bottle?
No.
What are the worst bourbon bottles?
As in
What are the ones that look crap, but then what's in there is so good?
And it's clearly just a basic Costco design label in a big wine bottle.
Yeah, I think we agree on that. I'm not asking about this one. I'm saying what other ones?
I don't know, because the problem is when the bottle looks really pretty, you're more likely to buy it. In my view, anyway.
I resisted buying Old Forester for so long. Old Forester is the least appealing brand name for, like, I just don't want to buy something that's called Old. And Forester, I don't know, it sounds like a car. Actually, I think there is a Subaru Forester, isn't there? But, like, I was just not interested in that at all. And then
Then you tasted it and you were like, drank it. Have it on a sip, Dave.
I drank some. And I was like, boy, this is good.
Yep. There's a classic don't judge a book by its cover, because now it's one of our favourite, Dave.
But have a look up there. The Old Forester, I've got a little lineup of them. They look quite consistent. But they're not pretty. It's not like it's old school and stuff.
It's an old-fashioned. It's retro, Dave.
Here's another one. Weller. Boring. It's really boring. There's nothing fancy
Welcome
about
to
that
Dave's
bottle.
attack of the label.
I'm not attacking. I'm just saying it's a bit flat. What about Eagle Rare? One of my favourite bourbons, but the bottle shape is so bland.
Yeah, but they know they've got the good stuff, so they know doesn't really matter.
I love Michter's, but most of the Michter's normal lineup is in a bottle shape that is not anything that's going to set the world on fire. The juice is unbelievable. It's these.
But they've come up with a bottle at some point, and they've stuck with it, and their stuff is so good they don't need to worry about what their bottle looks like.
Evan Williams. I don't mind what colour the label is. All the Evan Williams bottles are boring. It's like the boring book in the library that no one's ever touched. So it's
You should title this episode
Dave's rant about bottle design.
Rant about bottle design.
Because the thing is, like, you look at that Lux Row one, or you look at the Chicken Cock one, or you look at Lucky 7 or Minor Case, which is a rye.
but you like
Blanton's is beautiful. Rock Hill Farms, Peerless. You can look at. I mean, all of these. Oh goodness! Do not get me started on Pappy's. Pappy Van Winkle is one of the weirdest.
Yeah, but
fancy bottles.
They've kept it that way.
It's trying to be incognito or something.
Yeah, it's not about the bottle, Dave.
I know it's
the bottle
not
will get
about
you
the
over
bottle.
the line if you're at a shop and you kind of like, I can't taste it. Which one looks pretty? But also, some of these brands are so recognisable, it doesn't really matter what the bottle looks like. It does to Dave.
What I'm saying is that Costco. I get why Costco aren't going to do this, but
they're not going to put it in a nice fancy bottle. But why put it in a nice fancy bottle when it tastes just as good in that one?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really like about this thing is that it's kind of like our little secret.
And they were telling everybody about it.
Well, the good thing for us in this instance is that so far our following isn't earth-shattering. And so I'm pretty confident
Costco's not going to have a queue out the front tomorrow.
Sadly,
hopefully one of you go down and get yourself.
I mean, it's one of these things where
delicious Barton 1792
bottling
Kirkland.
from Costco, yeah. But there's just so many really good bottle designs that also have good juice in them.
Yes.
And there's also some good bottle designs that the juice isn't that flash.
I know. So it's not really about the bottle, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay, all right. And
you may disagree with me.
yeah, no, I probably don't disagree with you. I think there's no correlation. It's probably where I'm at with it. What are you doing? Are you getting on Instagram?
No,
What's happening? Why are you getting your...
I forgot to... It's all right. I forgot to pause my son's story.
Your
now
son.
he's going to be grumpy at me.
Don't think so. Well, I guess at the end of the day, when you're at a bottle shop and you're looking at the shelves, or you're just at Costco buying yourself a casket, some blinds, some solar panels.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Well,
Don't judge a bottle by its label, or don't judge a bourbon by its bottle.
Crack it open, have a little pour.
And find something you like.
And if it's this one, buy a case of it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.